Hey guys. I am trying to get this going here. Okay. Go. And yeah. Alright. Sorry about the delay. My computer is running slower than normal. So I'm just trying to get it up to speed here. But good afternoon guys. Evening as it may be. Sound and everything okay? Okay. Alright. Yeah, I don't know, for whatever reason I got some stuff running in the background that should be closed, but is not closed. Go away. So I'm just trying to break some of this down right here. So I don't have, yeah, I've got a lot of, okay. I think we're good now. I'm gonna keep an eye on it, but you guys tell me if you start seeing like not dropped frames, but buffering or anything like that. Kick it up in chat so that I can see it. Um, Otherwise, yeah. So this last box of pennies that I went through was not all that great. I think the best thing out of the box was actually this, and this is a 1999 S. This is a proof. So it's an impaired proof, and it's been in circulation for a little while, but it's been a long time since I found a proof in any box. So I think that was kind of cool. Um, I think that I found a doubled die reverse of DDR on this 2009 formative years. It's in between his hand, like as his hand, it sits like, does this sit like this? I guess. He's got fingers underneath, and it comes across right here. But I can't find a match um, online, so I just set that one aside, and I'll have to take a look at that one later. So stuff I'm looking for is I'm looking in the 97 through 2003 for double die reverses. I'm gonna pop out chat here. Here we go. Now I can see chat. Look at that. Look at that. Now I'm getting somewhere. I'm looking for, the 95, the 72. I'm looking for all of those. I would love to find, something cool like a small date, 1960. But yeah, I just wanted to do a little thing. It's been a while since I've done a live stream, and even longer since I've done a box on a live stream. So I was just gonna roll with it and see. Whoever wants to show up, they can show up, and You guys want to jump back and forth between, I know Mantic is on. I have no problem with that at all. So I'm just gonna keep digging and see what I can find. I'm hoping to find something good, because if I found a proof in the last box, then I would then assume that I could find something, like a 72 or something. Would be great. Man, that's just about close. Let me know if you guys get a lot of buffering. I don't have any drop frames, but I'm keeping an eye on it. So if I have to refresh some stuff on my side, then make sure and give me a heads up. 64 Lincoln. Nope. Okay. 91. 87. 90. Okay. Cool. No lag. All right. I don't know what it is, but one thing that I keep finding is I keep finding like bunches of 92s. Hey, Penny Queen. I just continually find a ton of 92s. In the last few boxes, I found much more than I usually or that I normally would. So I think that's kind of weird, to start seeing that many 92s. Although that kind of gives me a little bit of hope, because of that 92 and 92D cam, that everybody is looking for. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, I could find an 88, 88 with 89 reverse, a 92 cam, a 72. It just depends. I haven't found too many wheats recently. I think out of the last few boxes that I've only found less damage. I've only found about 12 wheat pennies, which is kind of low. I've been finding a lot more Canadian, which is it's nor here nor there. I think it's jacked up. But like some of the wheats that I'm finding, they are just wrecked. So I end up throwing them back. I don't. I'm keeping. I tend to see myself keeping less and less of the wheats, especially the poor quality ones, than in the past. So I'm kicking more of the wheats back out into circulation, just because the quality is just not there. Like, they are just like the whole back, the back of it is just scraped. So I'm not keeping those. Man, that's so close. 2003, 63. I am finding. See, like, here's a 42. And there's nothing significant on it, but just has marks everywhere. So I'll probably kick that one back. I have been finding a ton of 2019 Denvers though. So I think that the bulk of the circulation, the bulk of the circulation is out right now. I don't know what you mean by channeling, bud. No, it's not Like just a link to. All right, Penny Queen. Thanks for stopping in. That's a 57. That's not bad. It's a 1957 Philadelphia damaged eye. I'm not gonna keep that. Oh, yeah. Wait a second here. Do 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 do. I guess I'll have to do it on the. Let me do it on this one. Here you go, Lincoln. So yeah, like I'm really kind of, it's kind of interesting right now, just the amount of like wheats that are out. Like it seems like that there's less wheats because I used to get just a big pile of wheats at the end of a box, and I'm not seeing as much, and I'm seeing a lot less, um, of other ones like the minor double die reverses. I'm seeing less of. So I think some of that it really just has to do with the big push on coin searching, which is fine. I have no problem with that. Just more of stuff that I want to find it though. So 97, we're looking for a double ear on the obverse. This has got something on it. 2000 Philadelphia, we're looking for a wham. I haven't found any whams. I have found a ton of 96 Denver lathe lines. I found 3 or 4 in the past few weeks, which is a lot because I haven't found any of the 96 lathe lines in several months actually. So to find so many in a short amount of time, that's very curious. So I have bunches of 96D lathe lines. I would love to find another 88 with 89 reverse. That would also be a good find. 85, 95. I really want to find one of those 95s, those 95 doubles, or the 97 or 84 double ears. Both of those would be really interesting to find. Let's see, 97. 97, look at the reverse. I'm wondering how long that it's going to take for the shield sense to completely take over the memorials. So that like the bulk of the rolls um, will be shield pennies instead of memorial pennies like it is now. I think at this rate, it may be only about 10 years, I think, before something like that happens. Especially when we will get to a point where the wheats will be the Indian heads of the time, and the memorials will be the wheats. I think, especially with the rate that some of these coins like are deteriorating at, and people are hoarding the copper. Yeah. So wheats will be well. In that end, like, at what point does some of these coins like really stop existing? Because the copper only goes until 82, technically. So what about all the other coins? It's very curious. Very curious. 2005, 2019, tons of 2019s, and I totally see where everybody's saying is the 9 is extra, like extra fat compared to any other 9 previously. Like, every single 2019 looks like that the 9 is doubled. It does. 2015, 62. Google on it. 70, 70S, 70S, large date. Ugh. And I think I wouldn't mind finding any of the key, like the key dates, or like any of the small dates, like the 70S or like the 60. I wouldn't mind finding one of those just as far as to complete or to fill another spot in a book. What's up, Bigfoot? What's up, buddy? I'm just kicking it today. I'm killing a box of pennies here. The last box of pennies that I got this beauty right here, which happens to be a non-viewable coin, which happens to be a 1999 proof penny that I got out of my last box. So that was literally the coolest thing that came out of that box, and that was kind of depressing all in itself. Hey, Candy, what's up? So it's been a very long time since I found a proof coin in a circulation box. I think the last time that I found a proof was probably a nickel, and it was probably multiple nickel boxes ago, like like 4 or 5 months ago. So yeah, it's just been one of those things. I haven't found. I've been on a dry spell for DERs too. The 97 to 2003, 2004, 2005. Those ranges are really littered with double dice on the reverse and the columns. But although they are minor. Very minor. Some of them they aren't even attributed because they are too minor. I did have a good conversation with Chuck Daughtry, who runs coppercoins.com, and he says that if it's not bigger than what is it, halfway from the base. I got my notes. I don't want to give you guys bad information. Um, Half of the length between Lincoln's head and the bottom of the statue, on the reverse. So if it doesn't fill more than half of that distance, then copper coins won't be able to. He won't attribute them at all. Um, so which is, it's good and it's bad. I mean, really, it comes down to, you know can you possibly attribute every single, minuscule, um, double die reverse when, the time that it takes. What's up, Amy? The time that it takes to do the attribution is just not worth the effort. Then I can totally understand why that he would not attribute the more minor DDRs, but they're still cool to find. So I have a bunch of them that I went through and I did the attributions, and some of them I don't have attributions for because they are unlisted because of how minor they are. So I do have some of those, which is it's all right. I mean, I'm kind of going back and forth on whether I should even keep them or not, because of how minor they are. But I still like finding them just because, I can clearly say, what's up, Hidden? I can clearly say that it is a double die reverse, on that 7th column. Although I can't put an attribution number to it because it's too minor. So I don't know. That's something to think about. 92. Keep on getting all of these 92s that are really close, but they are still wide AMs. And that's not what I want. I want a cam for the 92. But I would tell you, if I have if I come across another 96 lathe lines, then yeah, we're giving that bad boy away because I have 7. I don't need any more. But yeah, no, it's been interesting. Miss Amy, how's your Jeep project going? Amy was working on her Jeep the other day. That's not too bad. 2006. 94. I think another one I'd like to find is the 94. Got the ignition coils and it's running good. Awesome. Send one to Lemon. Yeah, if I find it, I certainly will. That's really good news, Amy. I hate those vehicles that are finicky. Another 88. What's up, Mr. Hooper? Hooper. I continue to find a lot of 88s, 88Ds, and 92s. That I find more now than I have previously. So I don't know whatever the reason for the sudden, uptick in circulation box. What's up, Melissa? How are you? Be safe. That's a beautiful 72. Give me a double die. Come Give me a double die. No such luck. That's 72 straight up. Going back. Alright. There's another 8 Denver right there. 2018. So one thing that I picked up, and I've been working on another video for my commemorative series, is that I ended up picking up what's called a so-called dollar. And what these coins are is they are coins that were minted by the U.S. For expositions and stuff like that. And they call them so-called dollars because they're basically dollars, except for they're not like actual minted money. They're more metals than they are anything else. So I actually picked one up, and so I'm going to show you this to you guys. I think you guys will get a kick out of this one. So this is a Lewis and Clark Centennial Exposition, Portland, Oregon, and it says U.S. Government Building on that side. So obviously this was like this is on like a necklace or something. And then there's this side right here, Lewis and Clark Centennial Exposition. So you can see the fields. Like obviously this has been scratched up, but this is basically a proof like. And I checked up on some information on some of these, and this particular variety is a gold-plated bronze, and it's got a rarity of 5, as far as the information that I come up with. So the rarity of 5 means that there's less than 500 that exist, which I thought was really interesting. So that is referencing the rarity scale that I know of. I'm trying to confirm if it's using the same rarity scale. But yeah, that would be just a really, really interesting piece. So I was going to include, look how shiny that is. Yeah, it's. I was going to include this in my video on my commemorative series about the Lewis and Clark, and so I kind of dig some of these so-called dollars, that I might see if I can pick up examples here and there about it, just because of the history behind those metals and those tokens. So if you guys happen to see any so-called dollars, send me a message and just tell me where you found it at, and I'm gonna see if I can pick them up at good prices, because I think pieces like that, where you can really tie that to, the historical aspect of, they sold these pieces to raise money to build the buildings in these expositions. So there's a lot of history there, and I think that's they would do great in my videos. So I talked to Robert today, Robert Lawson, about to see if he's got any. He's got a bunch, but I don't know which ones that he's got. So I'll just have to. Lincoln, they are called so-called dollars. They are called that because they were minted by the U.S., but they're not actual money, and that's why they're called so-called dollars. They can also be called tokens or metals, but really they are specific to the expositions that were held, because these tokens were sold to make money, to raise money to put buildings in those expositions. So that's why they're called so-called dollars. But yeah, I mean, it's just a really interesting history piece. I think would be cool. It'd be really interesting to put together like an entire If I could do an entire set of so-called dollars for a specific event, like the Lewis and Clark or the Panama Pacific is one of the next ones that I'll be doing. That was in 1915, and there is a commemorative, which I know that I won't get I definitely will not get an example of that, because those things run like $300 for the actual commemorative half dollar, or I think it's $1. But then there are 7 so-called dollars um, for the 1915 Pan Pacific, Panama Pacific exposition. So that's going to be a really interesting piece to get into. There's gonna be a lot of history in it, and then there's gonna be, just tying all the pieces together, because even in the so-called dollars, there are still varieties in there, which is really interesting, because if you think about, well, how many varieties are there, and are there like incorrect lettering or things that can be found on these, basically on these tokens, and how much more does it make them, you know, more rare or more valuable depending on what kind of design that they have on them. And that's just a mind blow right there. 96. So, so far in this box, I've only found about 4 wheats that I'm keeping. Nothing too huge. I'm only about a quarter way through the box. Most of the things that I'm looking up, I just look underneath my scope, which is right over there, but I have it on this computer, so that I can see that and the chat and everything else at the same time. Just makes it easier for me. But 1994 has the DDR in the second to last base. 88. Shield 2006, 2002. Oh, if you guys get a chance, go and watch the video that I have, the big box of goodies that I got. I got a pack from Lemon. Sent me some really great stuff that I very much appreciate. A lot of history pieces in it. It was cool to get that stuff. 83, 2000, Shield, 2005, 2014, 70s, 99. Yeah, that was a great package. Like I was not expecting that much stuff. Like I was expecting like just the stuff that I bought. I wasn't expecting a whole box of goodies. Box of goodies. And then I think Ken is gonna send me a book that he found, and that's on some tokens, I believe, which I think is gonna be cool, because there's all kinds of tokens and stuff that were used in the early days. That it's just a historical piece. 1951 S. And there's something weird with mint mark. It's a really crisp strike. Okay, so I'll keep that one. But the other thing I noticed is that there, I'm coming across some more references and books about stuff. Like today, I found a good list of references on the so-called dollars. Um, Amy sent me a good list. It's over there. A good list of reference books for the Canadians. So I'm going to add those to my current list, so that people have access to that. Because there's a lot more books out there than I think a lot of us realize. Um, that a lot of us are not even utilizing, and I don't think that's bad. I just think it's something where we can't utilize it if we don't know about it. So, you know, I'll find I'll find the stuff, and then, you know, put it out in the community and see who wants who wants it. Because there may be people that want to that they just want to specialize in certain things. And that's just completely okay. I find myself gravitating towards ow, towards like the odd stuff, like, so-called dollars and tokens and excuse me. Just those kinds of things, like, more on the history pieces than, some of the actual coinage, which I don't have an issue with that. I kind of like that because I know that, it's something that I'm finding out for myself, and I'm learning that I can turn around and do, like the coin seminars, and that kind of stuff. I wasn't able to do the seminar this last weekend because I had my son had testing, Taekwondo testing, so I was not able to go or do really get to any of the streams this weekend. But it's on my list of stuff to go back and watch. So if you guys get a chance, get over to Ken's and find the stream list, and go through and watch the streams. Watch back the streams, and then I know Paula has the email coinseminarweekend@gmail.com for you guys to vote for your favorite show from the Coin Seminar Weekend, and then they will get prizes, or get a prize for being viewer's choice. So I think that it's kind of a good deal. I obviously didn't do a show, so I'm not in the running, but if that's something that you guys are interested in, then just head over to Ken's and find the list. The one that I kind of want to watch was actually Cheapskates, because he had a Canadian coin expert on there. Ooh, 1936. I don't see any diddling on it. Dang it. Would have been great if I would have found a double 1936, but alas. But that's a good one in the box, though. It's always good when you can find a 36. Just wish it was the one that was doubled. Doesn't everybody? Everybody wants to find the doubled 36, right? So yeah, I want to go back and I want to watch the one for Cheapskate and see what that one is all about. Because it's I think it's definitely an interesting an interesting bit when we can get other people, you know, outside of our small community, to talk about coins. 67, 94. Ooh, I just made a mess. I just made a messers. 83. We gotta find that 83 too. What's damage? I'm gonna find that 83 double die reverse. 94. For the cam. And these boxes have been really kind of weak. Oh, that one just sticks out to me. I'll see when we get to that one. Okay, so 2015, 2006. Been a while since I found anything in the 2006s. The last good 2006 that I found was the tilted and rotated DDR. And that one's a fun one. What have you guys found recently? And have you guys noticed any difference in the coins that you're coming across while coin roll hunting lately? Because I'm curious to see if the stuff that I'm seeing in my boxes is, you know, consistent across the board or not. There's a 1950S. Don't see those very often. 2003. 86, 2018, 2001, 82, 2019, 2006, 2003, 71. Nothing on the 71. 94, 98. Okay. 1963 quarter. Still, that's a good find, dude. Is that just circulation rolls or? It was beat up. But hey, it's silver though. Silver is silver. Yeah, I'll take a silver quarter any day of the week. I don't have too many of those. I think I only have a few actually. Quarters was never a big point for me. Quarters are just hard to go through here. They're kind of like the half dollars as well. Is that they're hard to search because they're so over searched that there's really not anything, not anything in it. 1970. It's definitely a large date. 1970s. What I'm looking for. God, I pretty much just gave up looking at half dollars because, dude, I don't find anything. I mean, I know there's more people that are looking through half dollars, and they're just looking for the silver anyway. So it's pointless for me to go through them. I'm not gonna hit anything with them. It's just not how it's gonna work. So I don't try. 1969S. It'll be too easy. 80, 95. I don't know if especially with the quarter craze, I'll call it. If there's more people going through circulation now, and that's why that. What am I trying to say here? That's why that I'm getting less, not as good as boxes overall, or if there's something that I can attribute to the quality of coin that I'm getting. I don't know if there's something significant. How close is Travis to 1,000? Last time I checked, he was 980 something. Let's see. 202, 93, 88 Denver. I don't know. I'll have to look at that one. There's another 88 Denver. The 88 Denver's was one of the hard ones for me to really tell the difference on the for the 89 reverse until I found one. Then after that, it just becomes easy. I bought a lot of mint sealed proof sets. I'm searching. Mint sealed proof sets. I saw somebody trying to sell. They called it a proof set, but I'm pretty sure that it was just a mint set. Just because of the way it was packaged. Did they ever package? I could be totally wrong, but did they ever package the mint sets in just the plain clear poly plastic? I thought those were only for mint sets. Because I saw a posting for what they called proof sets, but they weren't in the hard shells or anything. I mean, they were strictly in the clear plastics and the the poly, and they were late '60s, and I don't know why that it just makes me think that they were mint sets and not proof sets, because I thought the proof sets even in the '60s came out in those hard shells. Unless I'm just thinking of something completely different, which who knows. What's up, Random? got a weird looking like Scooby-Doo on the 73D, but it's not. Some are mint and some are proof. Okay, yeah, he was just hard to tell. Because like there wasn't any cameo or anything that would lead me to say that it was definitively a proof set, and the packaging just made me think that it was a mint set, but it could just be thinking of something else. 784, 87. 2001. Man, that's so close to a cam. It's either 68 or 69. And it just, I don't know why that it resonated so heavily that I thought that specifically that it was a mint set, because it had the stripe on it, the colored stripe on the packaging, and it just says mint set to me, not proof set. But maybe I'm just imagining things. I was pretty sure that specific packaging was only to mint sets. And that all of the proof sets came in hard shell. I had to go pick up some new gloves today, because these are my last two, and I thought that I was all the way out. I thought I used my last one on the pennies that I did the other night, but yeah, I found this one, so I was like, hey, sweet, let me do another box. 2015. 89, 73. The 73s, I'm looking for just the Philly ones, not the mint set in envelope 1968 proof sets in case. Okay, so that film that it was in, it was a mint set. It wasn't a proof set. Because it would have been in a hard shell. Okay, so I was right. I remembered something. Yay! Yeah, mint set. I remembered something. Yay! Pat on my back. Woo! It's probably good that I remembered something, because today I'm just having a day today. I was trying to work on this Excel file, and dude, like nothing. None of my brain was working. Like I could not think of, just the most basic stuff to come up with. It's all just left my brain at one time. That was frustrating, because I really needed my brain to work today. And it just told me that it was gonna go on vacation and bounced on me. So that's rude. It didn't give me 2 weeks notice. $1969 Denver. 1973. I'm looking for a Philly. 2014. 02. 88. And that has some heavy polishing on that one right there. There's like all of these like lines across the entire field. Looks like that there was a clash and they had to basically erase the entire field to get rid of it. Those kinds of coins. 93. There's another wheat. Another 1950s. This is the most wheats that I've gotten in several boxes. Like I already have, like these are all the 50s wheats that I have already just out of this box. That's a lot. That is a lot of 50s. Oh, there's a good one. 1941S. That is a large S, I believe, versus the small S that they also had in 41. It's another one of those varieties to keep in your head. It's the 1941 small S or large S. Large date or small date is what they call it. 93, 2014, 84. 84, we're looking for the double ear or the doubling on the date. And I have neither. Well, I'm actually surprised on how many wheats that I have so far out of this box. This is almost the most that I've gotten out of an entire box. 2006. Go for that reverse. 1961. I haven't really found anything in the 60s, like in the early 60s, where there was a bunch of RPMs. I haven't found one of those in a long time. 2001. Really clean 2001. But there was no doubling on it. Of course not. Of course not. That would be too easy. It's very clean though. Too bad. There's some 84. 2007, 87, 88 Denver. Yeah, I really wanted that one too. 81. Okay. Two, 2001 looks good. 2001 Denver. No doubling on the obverse. Reverse. Yeah, we don't have anything either. 93, 76, shield corroded. 91. 2014, 2016, 2012, 18, 76, 94, 83. So 83 Philadelphia, we're looking on the reverse. We're looking at E pluribus unum, and we're looking at 1 cent because there's two major double dies on the reverse of the 83 Philly for those two spots. 2002, 4, there's a 72. Okay, Lincoln. 72 with a really heavy die polishing on the date and in Liberty, which generally means that I'll find heavy polishing on the reverse, which I do, which means that there was a clash that they had to clean out or polish out. So anytime that you find heavy polishing right on the vest and on the on the west side of the date, and then on like the T and the Y in Liberty, that almost always means that there was a clash right there, and those polishing marks are there to try to polish out the clash marks. So, and then when you find polishing marks on, was it Bay 3 and Bay 8, 9, on the top of the bay, there's that ledge. If that ledge is polished out, then that's another sign of a clash that they had to polish out. So 2000, there's a bunch of DDRs, as well as 2000 Philly has the Wham possibility. 1968 S. It's not good enough. 1972. This is a Denver. So that means I'll probably have just hub doubling, which I do. 1958. Looking for RPMs and BIEs. Then on the reverse, I'm looking at the dot and the P and the L for doubling. Is generally where you're going to see it. 1970 D. Denver. Ooh, poor coin. 1942 Denver, and this thing is just, he's been wrecked. Poor guy. Oh. Why did they do that to you? 69S. No doubling. I'm starting to see a lot more of the common big double dies of those posted again. So the 1969, the 1983, and the 1982 getting posted a lot in the forums. So I've spent several hours going through and responding to these posts with not a double die, damage, not a double die, damage, not a double die, and links to there was one that they just posted a picture, and it was just a picture of a coin, and they said any errors, and or they said like, what error is this? And I didn't see anything wrong with the coin at all, even damage. Like, I didn't see anything, so I just posted a link to ref.com. I'm like, here, you figure it out. You think that it's an error, then do it. Then look it up, figure out what kind of error it is. I'll just post pictures and say, you know, what's this coin? Because somebody did that, and I responded with, well, it's a 92 Washington quarter. That's it. that was the end of it. They asked what it was, so I told them. A lot of people, they just don't know where to look for the information, so they just find these coin-op forums, and they don't do any searching, and they just post pictures and just want people to do the work for them. So that's why if I say it's something, then I will always try to explain it one way or another. whether with information or with a link to a solid article, um, for whatever they're they're requesting. Because a lot of people just don't want to take the time to look it up or learn it. Well, I think in this box, I'm gonna get probably the same amount of 50s wheats in this box that I've gotten in total wheats in the last 3 boxes. I think that's where it's gonna end up. Welcome back, Lincoln. For 2003. 2003. There's the 2011 that I need to look at. Because it's a Philly. No doubling. Dang it. I have maybe 1 or 2 good examples of the 2011 Philadelphia with the GDO on it. And I wouldn't mind finding another good example of it. Those are neat to find. 56. That's all wiped out though. There's another wheat. It's a 44. It's a 44S. So that's the third 44S that I found in this box. That's weird. That's a bit funky. I think I'm gonna start going through my my wheats that I have. Start looking through them and start shipping them back. Because there is probably about 80% of my wheats that I have not reviewed for varieties. I don't even have a good reason why. No worries, Bigfoot. I'm just here. But yeah, I would say probably about 80 to 85% of the wheats that I have not looked through yet. So we're over halfway through the box so far. Nothing super great has made an appearance yet. So this might just be kind of a skunk actually. I don't think I have gotten skunked on a penny box in a long time, but there's always that opportunity. 92. Looking for the can. No can. It's a solid 2005 Philadelphia, but there's no doubling on the reverse. Yeah, these right here. These are all 50s and these are 40s. Yeah, something like that. I mean, golly, man. Like, I'm gonna have to go through my wheats and then start putting some back in circulation just so I can get some more coin. because I got all these little storage organizer things of wheats, and I haven't done anything with them at all. I'm like, why am I keeping them then? I don't know. Because I do. Because I'm a coin hoarder. That's why. My name is CJ and I hoard coins. I like the coins, and they like me. We're friends. They know me here. 2015, that looks weird. So right about levels. 9976. This is 72D, but it is wrecked. Yes, Melissa. You have a question. I have an answer. Over the years, I think there must be 6-year-olds will be back there in the rat hole, just sitting there in a few seconds. Yeah, Bigfoot. Someday. Someday. Out there. Over the rainbow. 64. 64. Looking for double die onverse or double die reverse on the 64 Philadelphia's. Because those. 2011. I'm waiting patiently for Melissa's question. How many chucks could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? That's a great question. And the answer is as much as a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Ooh. Saw 96, and I thought that I saw lines, but nope. Not so much. I wouldn't even know what to do. Hey, it'd be okay. Wouldn't even know what to do if there was I found another 96 lathe lines. It's like, at what point can you just like stop finding 96 lathe lines? Like, how many is too many? Is there such a thing? '68, 2016, 2001, 2014, 68, 68 Denver. We got nothing going on in the obverse. 2003 Denver. So on a Kennedy half dollar, 1978. If you can see, so on a Kennedy half dollar, 1978. If you can see Kennedy facing the opposite direction, is this a thing? Melissa, I would have to see pictures of it. Because generally that would be a manufactured coin, like a token or something. But I mean, could be. But for something like that to happen, though, yeah, I would have to get pictures of that, Melissa, specifically. I mean, there could be any of a number of things that we could be looking for. Looking for what the rim looks like to see if it's split on the rim. To see what the front and the back looks like. To see if there are seams. Well, I guess the other question is that um, is it an actual Kennedy half, or is it something else, like a Balboa or something like that? That it has a different portrait, or is it a Ben Franklin? You know, because um, they show a different direction. Does your friend say what's on the reverse? Because that would be a good way to define what kind of coin it is. 97. This is a 92. 92. We're looking for the cam. 87, 83, 86. Good here. I mean, it could be a magician's coin. It could be like depending on like what it is. I mean, it could be a Benji. It could be a lot of different things without a little bit more specific information to try to get us in a direction. Like what kind of elements are on the back. Like obviously, if it's a Kennedy half, it's gonna have the eagle in the reverse. If it's a Franklin half, it's gonna have a bell. There's a fancy 64. You guys want a 64 that looks like that? You can see that the field is all it's all scratched up, but like that's some that's some brightness. 98, 83. 83, both Philly and Denver have doubling on the date. 83 on the reverse has doubling all over the reverse. Hey, Laura. How goes it? Let's see. So, like, let's see, 63. He's looking. I'm gonna have to go home and get it more tech for better pictures. Yeah, if there's like some more information that we can get, then that might help us start on a path to determine the possibilities of what he has. That would obviously be more ideal. 84. So on the 84, we're looking for the double ear on the Philadelphia. But also you can find doubling on the bottom loop of the 8 and on the side of the 4 for the Denver. So keep an eye out for that. I have yet to find any of the minor DDRs between 97 and 2003, 2004, 2005. I think the latest that I found a minor DDR was actually in the like a 2007, I think. the floating head where it's got major polishing on the obverse around the neck. Is that close, Laura? Bluebirds did a video. If it's a floating head, then because we actually discussed it on Ken's channel, and it's just going to be over polishing. Now, the question that I would bring up is it really a valued error? And the reason why I specifically asked that is because that was the same thing in 1969 with the floating roof, and for a while it was graded, identified as a quote unquote floating roof. But that was only for a short time before they stopped doing that designation, because it's not actually an error, it was just over polishing of the die. So, and that's where I think it's, for the sake of novelty, I think it would be interesting to find one, but to tout something like that as a mint error, I think is a bit extreme. But it could just be something that lasts for a little bit until more people get to the realization that it's not a true mint error, and it falls out of favor with collectors. But only time will tell. Yeah, only time will tell. Because it's, and it's, the problem is that there are some things that are still getting that attention, like on the Kennedy half dollars, the reverse that have the no FGs, they are still getting identified as, ooh, that's kind of pretty, as errors. So, like, I don't know, like, what do you do with that? When some of them are and some of them aren't, even though it's the same process? So I think it's just really going to be, what the general consensus is going to come up with, for those types of coins. There's 92. Yeah, right around Lincoln's head. Like if you look at one of those coins, and like if you have any coins that have a clash, it's, yeah, Philly always screws stuff up. That's why if you look for anything, if you look for any kind of errors or anything, the number one thing that you're gonna look through is that you're gonna look through Philadelphia rolls, because generally that's where they're gonna be. There are very few errors / variety types that come out of Denver, and that's been true for many years. Not really anything super cool. I did find 36 Philadelphia, which is kind of cool to find, because I definitely don't find these very often. I would like it if it was the doubled variety, but no such luck there. The interesting thing that I have on this box so far is, like, these are all the 50s wheats. Well, just this stack of 50s is about the same of all of the wheat coins that I found in my last two boxes. So the amount of wheat pennies that I have just in this box, and I still have about 12 rolls to go, um, is definitely up there in quantity, which is, I think, is kind of odd. 2011. ICG. ICG is the independent coin grading. If you wanted to do like on the cheap, if you're looking at pricing, I think the lowest that I would probably go would be Annex, and then NGC, and then PCGS. But that's my personal belief. That's just how I put them and rank in order. NGC and Annex has better classifications as far as varieties than PCGS, specifically because Annex is connected to the Konica. I NGC I think has membership. I don't think Annex does. But don't quote me on that because I'm not 100%. But I don't recall that coming up off the top of my head. Lincoln, I have some no FG halves. No one wants to buy them, so the value is a hype. Yes and no. My opinion of the no FG halves is, I mean, it really depends. Like if you have the where the FG is at the is next to the leg and underneath the wing of the eagle on the reverse, and if there is any wear on those areas, then it might not get the FG designation. But the thing is that they are still doing the FG designation, even though it's not a true mint error. It is over polishing on the die. So, how do you classify a mint error? Is over polishing classified as a mint error? And who classifies that? Well, that would be the grading companies that classify that. So then you have to go back and you have to define define what a mint error is, because in the same breath that I say that over polishing on the die is not a mint error, then you can turn around and say, well, CJ, you're full of crap because the 1922 Denver or the 1922 plane would be the same exact thing. I'd like to send off a 2019 W quarter, but I'm not a member anywhere. Laura, get a hold of Robert Lawson, okay? And he can get you set up. What's up, Coin Dragon? Robert Lawson can get you set up through either Annex or NGC. I can't remember which one that he's connected to. But if you get a hold of Robert Lawson, and ask him, I think he would be open into helping you. In my opinion. No, that's what it was. Annex. $1970. Yeah, I can't remember. My brain is not working that super well today. So I apologize if I sound like I'm drunk or something. It's just my brain just does not want to work today. And I don't know what it is. But dude, that is the funkiest. Hey Dragon, what do you think about this one? Looks like that it's got like oil or something on it. It's not like etched in the surface. Like it's just a That's a that's a different one. Like the fields are clean except for right down here. Yeah, stained. It looks different. It looks different, man. Yeah, but so far, nothing super great out of this box. Just a ton of wheats, which is, I'll take that, I guess. But I would really like something, an RPM or a DDR or DDO or something out of this box. I don't want to be skunked. Bad concert. Hey, well, Bill. Hey, SJ. 86. 1999. There's a 60 large date Denver, which usually means that there's an RPM, but there's no RPM on this one. That's unfortunate. And there, hey, there's a good one. How about a 35S? What's up, CFA? So I got a 36 and a 35S. I have 4 1944 S's. And then I have this giant pile of 50s wheats. So, yeah, I mean, it's, I'm rolling heavy in the wheats tonight. I guess. Nothing that really stands out. Wouldn't mind finding like a 55 double die, or I don't know, a 92 cam, or a 73 Philly double die, a poor man's double die. I wouldn't mind finding any of those right now. I mean, that would just be an 88. What's that? It's an 88. Or a 95. I don't know. 2011, 87, 93, 88, 92. Yeah, at least I'm not asking for much. I know, right? It's just like, or like a 70S small date, just one for the books. That's all I ask. I don't care if it's wrecked. It still would be a 70 small date. I don't think I'm asking for that much. 97. Yeah, I mean, I asked earlier on just the if anybody was going through rolls of coin and what kind of quantity um, that people were coming across, just because, like, just in the last few boxes, like, I haven't really got very much, and I think that's kind of an indication of that either the circulation is getting hit, or it's getting stale. Hey, Amanda. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know what the deal with the type of the quality of coin that I'm getting. Roadrunner. I've always do rolls, going through rolls. I just don't usually do them on live streams. I usually watch somebody else. But I figured I'd just go on, and if people want to come in and chill, then the option's there. If not, then it's all good. I got nowhere to go. Just hanging out. There's another 56. See, and some of these coins that I'm getting, like even the wheats though, but like you look at them and they're just wrecked though. Like the entire backs are just completely tore up. So I don't know. It's like feast or famine or something. I don't know what's going on with them. So any ones that I find are just kind of then I'll just kick it back because I already have a giant pile of wheats that I haven't even gone through yet. So I don't need to necessarily add to my pile of crazy. But if I find something like a 96 D lathe lines, I think I might I think I might just give up because that would just be too much. Date mint mark dispersion. Yeah, I mean the only problem is that it's not a definitive measure. Because different areas, like I'm sure you, Coin Dragon, will have a much higher count of Canadians than I will, being all the way down here on the West Coast. Um, but in the same sense, like maybe I get more wheats than you do. This is 92. Okay, there we go. There's a lot of variables, and the other thing is that it's really consuming. It's really time consuming. Now, if you could come up with um, a snapshot, we'll say, of a box with a set number of variables, like just total number of wheats, total number of Canadians, and some other basic, basic elements that could be recorded um, easily, then I think that you could uh, use that information as a general formula to for comparison. I feel because whatever data set, whatever data points that you would pull would have to be consistent across all boxes. Ooh, that's 968. We usually have more estimates out here. Yeah, yeah. I usually have a pretty good mix of estimates over here, but it really depends because like if I go over to say a more metro, like an hour north, hour south, more metro market, then the coin distribution, might be significantly different. I have no idea because I'm only looking at at my area. But I still want to figure out or somehow figure out what the level of dispersion for the coin, as far as the banks are in like what areas. Like if I know that the armored car company has, not specifics, but just a general area, like the 6 towns around me are all serviced by the same setup, like just something like that, where I know that if I wanted to get a completely different coin out of my mix, then I'm gonna have to go to a town, three towns away versus just two or one, so that I'm outside completely my area. That would be interesting because then you could get a really good idea of what specifically the mixes are in your, we'll call it a working area, um, and then compare that to anywhere else. See I always seem to find more high quality P mints here in California for some reason. Um, Depending on the bank, actually depending on the branch. Um, the main branch that I get coin from is only a few miles from my house, and I get better quality coin from that branch than I do another branch that's 5 miles away from the same bank, which I thought is kind of weird, but it is box after box after box, it is definitive that it is better quality. Because I can get a box of pennies from one branch and a box of pennies from the other ones, from the other one, and the ones that I get from the other one they look like garbage. They look like the entire box is like parking lot coins. I don't understand that. Older than 1965. So you get more in the 60 Philadelphias. Because that would be a good thing to find, like the 60, small date over large date over small date, um, those type of coins. 65, 77, 2000, 2017, 2016. 2018, 2000 Philly. RB MS quality. Yeah, those. See, and it's those kinds of coins that you want to put in books, or that you want to set aside. Those are good. Those are good finds. When you can find them, so it just doesn't always happen like that. Through. There's 97. We're gonna look for the ear, and then on the reverse. 69 Denver. 2002. 2008. 2000. 81. 2019. 1995. I got like a whole pile of wheats going on here. That's crazy. Nope. Looking for the 1988. We're looking for the FG from the 89 on the reverse. I have found one of them previously. Five. 69. Is that a Denver? No, that's an S. So 69S. We're looking for doubling on the obverse. This is one of the big ones. And nothing there. 82. 84. 84 Denver. I'm looking for doubling on the date on the 8 and the 4. Is where I generally see it. 2006. The 6 has a DDR on base 7, column 7, column 7, column 7, where all of the minor DDRs appear is at column 7. I think Fed Bank out this way to opening. B rolls 2, found lots of earlies 799s. Yeah, I'm really curious on like what kind of capacity that they have that they haven't touched some of these coins yet. It's like you would think that they would have X number of coin that comes in and that goes out, and that their process is more or less finite. Like it's gonna ebb and flow a little bit, but overall it's going to be the same amount of coin first in first out, and so that it all gets through circulation. Like there shouldn't be any, you know, OBW rolls from like even the 90s still in a vault somewhere. Like that just seems like that would be excessive. At least to me. Because you would think that they would have had already gone through all of that coin. There's a bunch of casinos out this way. But you would think that through the cycling of the coins for the last even 20 years would have cycled through all of that coin already. '76, 2011, gross coin, 97 Philly. Looking for the ear and then looking for double knees. Reverse. 86. 94. There's this 71 Philly. 71 has doubling that shows up above and below the 7 in the date, but I didn't see any. 93, 1987, 94, 97D, ear, Liberty, DDR, 73, 61. It's hard to find S-Men here. Very hard. I think as far as the S-Mints, the 70s I find a ton of for the S-Mints. The 60s I also find a ton of the 60s. The 50s I don't find so much, and then it just kind of drops off from there. But that's kind of just the mix that I get. 59 Denver. Nope. I always hear about the one old guy buying a new car with his penny or change hoard. So OBW rolls don't surprise me. Oh jeez, I couldn't. I could imagine. I couldn't imagine him bringing in a wheelbarrow or a bucket full of quarters or something. Be like, I've been saving this change for the last 35 years. New casino fed bags buried on top of old as possible, then mixed up. New stuff turns up all the time. Dang. Well, I guess you got the luck down there, I guess. See, in those areas, I would even like go through rolls more heavily, hoping to hit some of that older coinage. Oh, you always take copper out? I don't keep copper. I think a lot of my I've gotten to the point where anything 59 and newer. Unless I think that it is in very, very BU condition, I don't even keep anymore. Because I already have, stacks of it already. I'm getting ready to purge a bunch of my coins again. I've done it, I think, twice. Yeah, who knows? Who knows what's under wraps somewhere? 1960 large date. It's a 98 Denver. It's a 97. There's a 92. 92 Denver. Looking for that cam. Yeah, it's just a giant pile of coins, and I'm not putting books together anymore. I'm not doing anything of that, so like I have no purpose of holding all of these, these BU, AU coins for any reason. There's an 80. I wouldn't mind finding an 80 Philly DDO either. Put that on my list to find. But then again, like there's a bunch of like repunch mint marks also in the wheats that I haven't even started looking for because I haven't looked at my wheats at all. And I really should at least get through my wheats because that's a giant part of my stash right now is the wheats. 92. Six, 2003, 2018, 86, 16, there's an 85, 2002 Philly, 2002 shows up on the letters on the reverse. I'm not seeing it. 94 Denver. 94 Denver has double columns on the west side, and 94 Philadelphia has doubled columns on the east side. 64. 64, I look for doubling both on the obverse and the reverse. 2011, it's a Denver, so I'm not gonna have anything there. 94, looks like a wreck. 2002, 2007, 98. 83 Philadelphia. I'm looking at 1 cent, and I'm looking at E pluribus unum for doubling. For the 83 Denver, I'm looking at doubling on the 8 and the 3, doubling on the ear, and doubling on underneath the ear. Yeah, Roadrunner. I think I'm at the point where my interests are kind of shifting, so that I don't feel like having the excess of coins that I'm not going to do with is very productive. Like I don't. 2006. And yeah, I can hold on to them, and I think they're cool, but like, what is that doing for me? Well, nothing right now. So might as well turn that coin into other coin that I can use. I think it's just a transition. So 1969S, no doubling. 1971 Philadelphia. I'm looking for above and below the 7. Liberty and In God We Trust. There's another wheat. We got a 1954D. Yeah, that's alright. 2015. I was talking earlier that that I wonder how long it's going to take for our coinage to go from like the bulk of it from memorials, where the memorials become the new wheats. Like how long that would take? Because that would be interesting if that occurred. If shields became the new memorials and memorials became the new wheats, and then the wheats became the Indian heads of coin. Like how long before we get to that stuff? Yeah, you're right, Bigfoot. Some of them would be good for a collector. So I think like I'm really on the fence about it because the penny has been doomed for a long time. Um, I just I think the U.S. the government just hasn't figured out what to do with it yet, and that's why no changes have occurred on it. Because if you take it away, then your entire payment system has to change. So like what the Canadians did is you just round now. Um, you just round either up or down. Ooh, 1944. You just round up or down to the nearest nickel, and that's how they do the pricing for coinage. And I think that we would be okay to do something like that, but I don't know. Um, I think a lot of the hype on like the W and the role searching is to get people back interested in the hobby because it drives the sales figures of the coinage. Um, what's up, Kaplan? Um, that is a very good question, Laura, and that is definitely up for debate because if the penny was discontinued, okay, if the penny was discontinued, then what would they do with the coin that is currently in circulation? Are they going to basically are they going to buy back all of the coin from all of the banks, all of the mint, all of the Federal Reserve banks and like all of that, and then like melt that stuff down, or like on a large scale, or are they just gonna let it die off? Um, I don't know if there has been any talk about that. I know there are a lot of people, especially in the stacking, prepping, hoarding world, that get that pull the copper out because if the penny goes away, then those pennies that are copper are still worth copper value, although it's a mix between um, copper and I think tin. Is it? Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see exactly um, what goes on with the whole thing. Um, I mean, because and I was actually thinking about this the other day. that if we could transition the penny into something other than the zinc. Like one of the things that I thought about was, well, can we do something that is like a zinc and a zinc and polymer type coin instead of like a bimetal coin, something like that to cut down on costs, and we could use recycled plastic for the polymer inset into the coins, um, so that we were just using just straight up less metal to begin with. Um, I Currently the price on Wheaties has gone up. Um, as far as I've seen, because when I was first looking at it, Wheaties were only like a couple of cents, maybe 3 cents. But as far as what I've seen recently, I don't know if it's just a specific fluctuation or if it's changed in the immediate past. But wheats are usually going for 5 to 6 cents each. It's roughly on the bulk. Um, so I don't know. That's one of those things that it just depends on what the government does with the penny, and how what they do with the coinage, because like obviously there's still a lot of coin that is floating around that has not been touched, and Roadrunner I already hit on that, but like you know um, like these things. Well, I keep finding Canadians, and these things were not have not been minted since 2012. So um, you already have 7 years of circulation in the U.S., and we still find these things. Some of that could come from old coins from our grandpa or something that gets dumped into circulation. But how much of those type of this type of coinage is still just sitting out there in banks? Um, I don't know. A low cost, non counterfeit material. That's right. And that's why I'm saying, like, if there's a way to do the recycled plastic and make it into a sturdy polymer type material, that way it would utilize the plastic that we already have issues in recycling, um, and be able to use it in a more productive way. That's my thoughts. Because that would be really cool if we could do something like that, because then we are using less metal for the coinage, which should hopefully make it cheaper to make, and then it would just be transitioning from all metal to a polymer by metal coinage that would phase out the rest of this stuff. It's definitely a pondering question. So the end of this box says that we got more wheats in this one box than I've gotten in the last 3 boxes. So definitely like a huge wheat stack that I've got to go through, even with a couple in the 30s, which is really cool to find. And but nothing significant as far as varieties or RPMs or anything like that. The last box, I did get this one, which is a 99 proof, um, that I got out of the last box. So I don't know. It's I want to call this a skunk box, but I mean I did get a lot of wheats out of it, but they so far I haven't looked at any of these underneath the scope, obviously. Um, but there's no immediate RPMs or anything that I can see, any DDRs, DDOs. So, uh, like, it's a skunk box, but it's really not a skunk box because I got a lot of weights out of it. So, yeah, I'm just gonna call it that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'd like to find some other things, but it's not in the box. It's not in the box. Bigfoot. I was checking out how it was probably plastic currency. Yeah, it's a clear polymer is what it is, and for their notes, for their dollar bills. Um, that would be cool if we went to something like that. It's a great American coin hunt. I am waiting for the no date Buffalo nickels to hit the street. Dude, Bigfoot, if you want no date Buffalo nickels, I got a bunch that I could send you. Bunches. Steel, zinc, chrome alloy, not corrodable. Relieved if economically possible. Plenty of steel in the economy. Yeah, if there was like a steel, like a steel polymer something or another. Because then that way it's mostly recyclable. Um, Mostly, even if it was like the outside ring, that we'll say the outside half was steel, and then the interior half of the coin was polymer. At least that way, like it could be like easily recycled because all you would have to do is take out the polymer and recycle the steel. Something like that. So this box in here, um, this is where I put all my no date buffaloes and all my 2009s. So, and what the sad thing is that I got like a bunch of buffaloes in here already. Um, I already have an entire tube full of 2009 Denvers that I pulled out of this. So this is almost another tube full of 2009s. But yeah, I've got a bunch of buffaloes in here too. Inflation has those zinc pennies rising in melt value. But zinc isn't worth that much though. I think it's because of that the fact that they degrade so easily. So that there is X number of produced, and then since those disappear like on their own, that makes the overall like population go down. But the thing is that the populations that we're talking about on zincs are in the billions. So even with the train wreck of a metal that it is, and how fast they degrade, just the sheer amount of population of total mintage um, should deem them still completely worthless. But that's my thought on it. I mean, I don't know. I think that kind of stuff is used for bigger brains than mine. Bigger brains than mine. I am waiting as far as what Bigfoot was talking about, the Great American Coin Hunt. I'm wondering where the circulation of some of those coins goes, as as if the question that I would have if somebody is putting a bunch of stuff in like circulation and say, I don't know, Ohio, we'll just say, you know, does does that mean that the coins can make their way across the U.S., or how much of an area that those stay in? Because um, like looking at the map that the Great American Coin Hunt had, um, my issue is that there was very little participation on the entire western half of the U.S. So, like, how much participation was there, and how many coins, were really out there, and but I mean, to Lincoln, to what you're saying about the cashiers, um, like, especially watching some of the videos of people, using the coins, the cashiers don't even look at them, or the cashiers don't even know what they are. So that's concerning. Yeah, Lincoln walked into the dollar store and just bought it with a single roll of buffaloes. Just here you go. Here's $2. Yeah, Coinstars are still big. People still find stuff in Coinstars, which still amazes me because of how many videos that are out that specifically say, "I found silver in Coinstars." Like that, that drives people to actually check those things. But a lot of the Coinstars, they're they're not checked. How does somebody go through and dump, $78 of coinage and not check the reject tray? Like, if you were dumping all of that money to get the straight up cash for that money, I would want to make sure that every single coin that I put in that machine, it took. But that's just me. Yeah, and that's assuming cashiers know what to look for. And what you will find is a lot of like big box retail. They have very fresh young cashiers that they don't have a flying clue what it is. So a lot of some of like some of the department stores, restaurants that have some of The older waitresses, that kind of thing. Yeah, they're gonna know. They're gonna know what those things are because they've been around a while. Found your first silver dime and a coin star. AU60. Oh no, that's not a bad find at all. My son found a 52 dime and a coin star, and I thought that was a wicked find because yeah, it's silver. That's silver all day. Yeah, I always like, I've had some of the tellers ask me, at all the banks that I go to, and they ask me straight up. They're like, "Do you look at all of the change, that gets handed back to you?" And I say, "Yeah, it's kind of a habit now. That any change that I am given, I'm always looking through it. It's a habit now." Whenever I go to the bank, and drop off the um, and my dump bank, I always check the inside of the machine on the magnet, because I found actually Canadian. I actually found this one in there one day. It's a toonie, Canadian $2, and this was on the magnet inside that machine that I dump off at. I'm like, heck yeah! I just found myself a toonie. That's awesome. So I always find Canadians and Mexican coinage, but this one right here, this bimetal one, this one is a cool one, and I have never found anything that big in the coin machine. What composition? I believe it's steel and bronze, brass. I don't know. I'm not good at this one. The inside looks like brass because it's yellow, and whatever this outside is, if it's like coated steel or it's magnetic, so parts magnetic. Yeah, it's magnetic on the outside. Yeah, the casinos are they're bimetal, but they're like brass on the outside, and then silver on the interior. And I have one. I just don't know where it's at. Of course, my first searching for silver was back in the 1980s when casinos still used coinage. Yeah. See, that would be really cool. Is to go back and basically, and hoard all of that 60s silver, like when it was coming out, and just like hoard it and put it away. Because now it's like, no, it's super hard to find, but it still gets out there, which I'm surprised, because you would think that through half dollars and quarters and all of these, these big denominations that have been so heavily searched, that like all of the um, um, that all of the silver would have been plucked out by now, but they still they still happen. Yeah, me too, Laura. Uh, and I never got very heavily into the silver. I mean, it's nice to find, but at what cost? When you're looking at a box of half dollars is $500, and the time that it takes you to go through that to find no silver, Um, to find maybe a couple NIFCs, maybe a proof if you're lucky, and then you take it back. So like for me, you know, in my area, I don't even try looking for them because it's not. I can't justify my time. What did I find so far? Really just the wheats. Um, the wheats is pretty much the only thing. I got some other things that I need to look at underneath the scope, and then probably kick back. But otherwise, the wheats is gonna be all we really found today. So a bunch of 50s, about 5 or 6 40s, and then a 35S and a 36 Philly. Your friends laugh. Yeah, like, and I find myself like if I put coins in my pocket even after I've looked at them, then when I'm taking my change out when I get back to the house, um, and I look at it again, even though I've already looked at it, but I always look at it again because maybe there's something that maybe I need to look at. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys can see all this. So these are all the wheats. They're just a mess of piles. Um, but these are the last 2 boxes of pennies that I've gone through, and these are 50s, and there's I don't know 4 or 5 here. These are the 40s. There's 6 here, and then there's a couple of that's a 30, that's a 36, and that's a 1919. Um, Otherwise, these are all the 50s that I got today, which is that much. And then those are the 40s. And then 35S and 36. So it's cool to find the 36 Philadelphias, but you know that's kind of the end of it. Yeah, it was a decent box. I've man, Roadrunner, man, you would know if I found a 36 DDO. You would know because I would push everything over to the side, and I would only have that one coin sitting right here, and that would be it. I would just be like, I gotta take a break. I'll be back. You did? Lucky. Lucky dog. I haven't found too many like crazy things. I'm really starting to hit the 2019s and the pennies. I've only found actually a couple 2019 Philadelphias in the pennies. So I kept a couple of those. Um, and then as far as like the nickels, I've actually only found two of the 2019 Denvers in the nickels. So I have two of these that I found, and that is all the 2019s that I have found so far. Yeah, I had the one box that was like almost all 2019 Denver in the pennies, but nothing solid roll in the nickels yet. But I'll probably pick up some nickels tomorrow because my bank just got coin yesterday. So yes, I do, Laura. It was gifted to me by Joe Durbin. So I treasure and value that one a lot because I did not ask for it. It just showed up, and that's as far as it will go. It will stay in my grubby little paws. Um, and I think I theorize that he heard me um, talking about, because I had gone through like 4 boxes of quarters, and I didn't even find a single 2019. Dude, I was lit, because I'm like, this is stupid. That I can't find a single 2019, but yet an island in the middle of the Pacific can get an entire box of 2019s. Like, I'm just saying, that's garbage. That's rigged. And yeah, Joe is a great guy, and he is much adored in our community, and he knows things, man. He's got his own mint. I'm telling you, he's got his own mint. He prints it, he mints it. It's so every time that I see him, I always say, hey, it's Joe from the Mint Durban. Yeah, I don't understand how, because I am an hour away from like one of the biggest metro markets on the West Coast. So I don't understand how we don't have, that coinage yet. I don't understand it. It boggles my mind. Yeah, boggles my mind. Just it doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, you guys are all lucky. You guys are finding 2019 stuff, and I can't find squat. You found a few 2019 D pennies. Well, if you need some more, man, let me know, cause I got like 8 rolls of them that I don't even know what to do with, because reasons. Joe is Joe is of the Durban Mint. That is for sure. For sure. Alright, guys, I've hit just about 2.5 hours. So I am going to call it a night. I thank you very much for coming in and hanging out with me, watching me go through my pile of coins. Um, I try to do these every now and then, um, just because it's a place for people to come and hang out. So we'll do another box soon, and yeah, we'll do it again. Thanks for coming, guys, and I will see you guys around, and see you guys next time.